So it's a Monday morning. I get the idea to do something kind of crazy because I have the day off work. I'm like, I could just relax. But I'm like, no, I'm going to do something else. So I call up this place. It's a skydiving place. And I'm like, hey, do you guys have any appointments available? They're like, we actually have one today at 6 p.m. 6 hours from now. I would be going skydiving. I'm like, I'll do it. So I booked the appointment. And I'm feeling really nervous. Then a half hour later, they call me. They're like, actually, that appointment at 6 p.m., we can't make that. Can you come at 4 p.m.? I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I'm going skydiving today. I just booked it on the same day. So 3.5 hours from when I get the call, I'm going skydiving. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm just going to go and do it. So I drive to the skydiving place. I'm actually at the skydiving place right now. I think I'm going in like 15 minutes. I'm sitting in my car and they're like, yo, you didn't sign the waiver. I look at the waiver, and if you've ever been skydiving, the waiver is so intense. There's a video involved that you can't skip. They're like, hey, the parachute can go wrong, the pilot can mess up, there's a lot of risk here. Just know what you're getting yourself into. I signed the waiver online. Oh my God, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I go into the skydiving place and it's the most unofficial place ever. I walk in and there's no guy at the front desk. It's a screen and I can see the guy's head. He's on a Zoom call with me. I'm like, what is going on? I pay the fee and then I go to sit down. The skydiving instructors come in and they're like, oh, we got to take these 2 girls first. We'll be back in 45 minutes. So here I'm ready to jump now. And I'm like, oh, I can't even wait 45 seconds. They're like, no, 45 more minutes, then we're going to go skydiving. They leave. As I'm sitting at the skydiving place, I'm like, I know I feel nervous, but I'm going to reframe this as excitement. I'm definitely feeling nervous, but nervousness and excitement, they're pretty similar feelings. So I'm going to tell myself I'm excited. 20 minutes go by. I look outside and I see these 2 guys in black uniforms. They're police officers. And I'm like, oh my God, did something happen with the girls? Was there like a skydiving accident? Then 15 minutes later, they come back, so everything was all right. I'm not sure where the cops were there. And one of the instructors points at me. He's like, all right, your turn. I'm expecting to get like a lot of instructions. They're just like, all right, when you jump out of the plane, just lean back. That's all you got to do. I'm like, that's it? What?
How are you feeling today?
I feel great, man. I feel great. Got a little nervous.
Oh yeah, that's part of it. Excited though, I can tell. So here we are, first time skydiving, correct?
That's right, first time.
The reason behind it is?
I wanted to do it, and I booked it today. I didn't tell anyone. I
Very
just booked
cool.
it. I was like, all right, I'm doing it.
Let's go.
Let's we get to the plane, and it is the smallest plane I've ever seen. The inside of the plane is like a car. It didn't really only fit 5 people sitting down. You can't even stand up in this plane. So now we're in the plane. We're taking off. The guy is strapped to me, and I notice he's wearing a helmet. But I don't have a helmet. He's like the professional and I'm the one who's not having a helmet. Like, I'm like, yo, give me the helmet. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. But I'm feeling kind of nervous. I'm thinking, yo, I didn't tell anyone about this. Like, what if I die? Then I guess my mom will find me on Find My Friends. Just trying to focus on my breath. As we're taking off, I keep telling myself, I am nervous, but I also feel excited, so just focus on that excitement. The instructor says 5 minutes till we go skydiving. I'm looking out the window and I'm like, oh my God, like we're gonna jump from here. I was feeling really confused because you're 10,000 feet in the air and you're like, how are we gonna jump from here and land at the right spot? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, I'm just gonna trust this instructor. I'll be all right. 5 minutes go by and it's time to jump. You're doing this like really tough thing, right? You're facing a fear. And here I am strapped to another guy, scooching over to the ledge. We get to the ledge. I look down and now it really registers. Like, okay, we're going to jump from here. The guy's like, are you ready? I go, I'm ready. We stand on the ledge and all of a sudden I feel a yank on my back. I'm like, oh, what is going on? And then I'm expecting to see the ground, but then I actually see the sky. We did a backflip. The instructor didn't tell me he was going to do a backflip. We finished the flip and now we're free falling and I'm just like, let's go. I feel so excited, but also kind of nervous. It's just like so many sensations all at once. And comparing that, like, you know, me free falling 10,000 feet in the air to 4 or 5 years ago when I was dealing with panic attacks, just sitting at work, just filling out Excel spreadsheets. I was like, man, I've come a long way. I'm able to face these fears. And that's part of the reason I have this channel. I think that the things that work for me can also work for other people. But anyway, we do the free fall. He pulls the parachute. He lets me hold on to the parachute handles. I'm holding on to my dear life because I'm thinking like, oh, if I let go, do we just die? Eventually it's time to land. And as we're landing, I see like a house. And we're very close to the house. I'm like, oh my God, I hope we don't land on this house. Eventually we land safely. And this is the clip from after we land.
We checked that off the list. Skydiving, we did a flip, wild stuff. What did you think?
That was amazing. It's
nice.
Nothing like I've ever experienced.
Excellent.
I'm really glad I did it. So I did it on a random Monday morning. I didn't tell anyone. I just went skydiving. and it was awesome. So why did I go skydiving in the first place? Well, first of all, I talk a lot about anxiety on my channel, right? But how can I talk about that if I'm not facing my fears? If I'm afraid of heights, then I have to address that fear. So one way to do that is to jump out of a plane from 10,000 feet. Also, I knew I had to go skydiving because I would have regretted it if I didn't. I had the idea in my mind and I was like, I know it'll take some discipline, but if I could do it today, how awesome would that be? How awesome would I feel if I knew that the same day that I wanted to do it, I just went without telling anyone? Another reason I went skydiving is because I made that full overcoming anxiety guide, thinking like, even if some crazy accident happened to me, like sometimes in Los Angeles, you'll see coyotes. Like one time I saw a coyote literally just on my street. I was like, all right, if I even die and get eaten by a coyote, at least I made this video. It sounds weird, but that's what I was thinking. Because I was thinking like, I want to make more content that I'd be really proud of, that let's say I did die, you know, even if it's like 80 years from now, whatever, at least I made this. I know I'm getting pretty existential when I just went skydiving. It's pretty safe, I know. But I did have that thought. And the last reason is, when I told people that I used to deal with panic attacks, I don't think that they were consciously doing this, but they started to treat me like I still had anxiety. I'm like, no, that's not the point of the videos. The point of the videos is to say, here's how I was able to overcome it. I'm not gonna let any anxious thoughts or feelings hold me back from doing the things that I actually want to do. Yes, I still have them from time to time, but I can act despite them. I know I'm not like the only person to go skydiving, but I hope that that's one takeaway of this video. Even if you have some level of fear, anxiety, you can act despite that feeling. Okay, so the title of the video, why did I not tell anyone that I was going skydiving? Actually, like right before booking and after booking, I talked to my sister and my mom. I didn't tell either of them. Also, before this, I did a vacation to Denver with a couple of friends of mine. I didn't tell anyone I even had the thought. 2 weeks ago, I was playing around with the idea, and then that Monday morning, I was like, okay, maybe I should do it. I called, I booked it, same day. There are a couple of reasons I didn't tell anyone. Number one is, when you tell someone a goal of yours, you actually release a little bit of dopamine as if you've already accomplished it. So it's like you get a little bit of credit for accomplishing the goal, even though you've done nothing. So a few years ago when my anxiety was at its worst, I would tell people that I want to go skydiving, and they would be like, oh, respect, like that, I could never do that, like that's amazing. And I would feel a little good about myself. So when I got the thought a couple weeks ago, I was like, okay, this time I'm not going to tell anyone because I don't want any credit unless I do it. Reason two, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want any crutches. I didn't want any comfort. I didn't want anyone to lean on. I didn't want anyone's support. I just wanted to face that fear. I wanted to just be me and my thoughts, and obviously the skydiving instructor because he's the one who made it possible. I didn't want to make it easier on myself. I wanted this to be a difficult thing that I had to overcome. So I was like, okay, no support, no comfort, no one to lean on. I'm just going to do it. And the last reason I didn't tell anyone is thought projection. So a lot of times when you have like a big plan or a big goal and you talk to people about it, they kind of project their thoughts onto you. If you told someone, I want to go skydiving, they'll be like, oh, I would never do that. Like, you're so brave. I would be so fearful of that. And then all of a sudden you start to feel a little bit more fear. You were planning on doing it. Maybe you reconsider your actions and you're like, oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe it's actually more dangerous than I thought. Even though it's like pretty safe, maybe you're rethinking things because of someone projecting their thoughts onto you. But if you really want to do something and it's safe, it's not going to hurt anyone or yourself, then I think you should do it. Like going skydiving was such an amazing experience. So I didn't want anyone to project their thoughts or fears onto me. Really the core of this is I just wanted to deal with my own thoughts and feelings. I didn't want anyone else to give me additional support or additional fear. Let me just deal with my own mind. So that was my experience skydiving and why I didn't tell anyone. And as I was going through this entire process, I was using a lot of techniques that I talk about in my videos to overcome anxiety. And I wanted to show to you that these techniques that I'm talking about, they actually work for me. Like, I'm able to do stand-up comedy, I'm able to go skydiving, and a few years ago I was literally dealing with panic attacks. I really think you make progress by doing the right things and trying to get incrementally better. Like, you don't have to do this big thing like go skydiving. If you're just focused on getting a little bit less anxious every day and you do the right things, you'll see significant progress. If you found this video useful and maybe you want to use some of the techniques that I talk about, I have a full overcoming anxiety guide where I mention how to deal with anxiety moment to moment. I'm not a medical professional, but it's everything that helped me. So chances are it could help you as well. Gonna be posting more self-improvement content like this, so stay tuned. And listen, it was not easy going up there and facing that fear of heights, but it was so totally worth it. Life's not easy, but it's worth it. Take care.